All right, could I have everybody stay over here? Now remember inside I mentioned that the building used to be twice as thick. We can still see the remains of that. See the wood sticking out of the wall? Those are the remains of the beams inside that would have extended pretty much to where I'm standing right now. Something that would have been here. So it'd be neat to see what's under there, but we're not going to be having time for that today. This is the courtyard. Welcome to the outside portion of the mission. This is not like the original courtyard of this mission, however. What I mean by that is the courtyard tried to recreate roughly what this would have looked like, but it's nowhere near the size and depth of the original. Yeah. Those are just decorative pieces. Underneath that plaster, you can see a bigger sample here of what inside of the plaster looks like. Yes. That's no longer standard. Now, on the other side of this wall, let's all take a look. What do you guys see over there? A house, right? Now, I mentioned that this mission has seen a lot of changes over its life. The church part of this mission stood where this house is. Right here. This is where the church was, and it was about 2 stories tall and extended basically to the back side of the courtyard. It was a very large building, much bigger than the chapel. The chapel was built later by Vallejo. The church stood here, and it fell apart. It wasn't built very well in about 1838, roughly. It was a construction failure. They tried to rebuild it. It didn't work. It burned down. So they decided we're not going to keep it anymore, and they just kind of forgot about it.
That looks like
And that was basically the same time they decided we'll turn that wing into a chapel. That works just as well. What's in the middle here? Let's go take a look. Big fancy word that means well, or watering spot. Now, it's empty right now because California is experiencing its worst drought in about 1,000 years. So we thought, let's do our part. We're not going to waste any water. We'll shut our fountain off. So that's why there's no water here today. Otherwise, it would be full of water and it'd extend out of these nice tiles and go all around your feet. Historically, this well was not here. See the little spigot over there where the water fountain is?
Yes.
That's where the well was. This was built later so we could show everybody maybe what it looked like. We're not sure. This is just kind of our conception of what it looked like. But the original well we know stood over there. Where did I put that? When we were doing some archaeological excavations years ago now, we pulled this nail out of near that well, right over there, from underground. Now General Vallejo, his house back over that way sits just at the foot of the hills, and he was able to capture water and store it. He owned all the water for the city of Sonoma and sold it to everybody. He built a system of redwood pipes underground where all the water was filtered through, and they were hammered together with nails just like this one. So we think that this nail was part of his original water system, which goes underground. And right, you hear that humming sound? That's PG&E. They're doing some construction. In front of the mission across the street, they were digging a hole because they're going to fix some stuff, and they found some redwood pipe put in by General Vallejo. So it's still there today. There it was gone, but across the street it was still there, which is incredible. Yes?
What is the button?
The button. Oh, that's just the cap. That's another button. Yes?
I have 2 things to say. I was going to say, did they have like soap in the world?
Photos of this cactus in 1900. That's 115 years ago. And it was pretty much this big then. So we think this cactus was planted roughly about 1840. This cactus is gigantic.
Yes.
These little things, these little knobs everywhere, eventually do this. They become flowers. This is prickly pear. You can actually eat those. We're not going to today because they're not ripe. We have another cactus like this one out front that does the same thing. Prickly pear petal cactus. It's quite delicious. But
Sammy,
I brought you over here because I wanted to show first how old it is, and then it's built on part of where the old mission stood. Remember I said this courtyard was much bigger? Back when people were using the mission, the women's dormitory for the Native Americans would have been roughly here. So if you can picture a big building here, this is kind of where they lived. The cactus would have been gone. Today it just serves as a reminder of how time changes and how historically things look differently over time. Who knows how long? I bet this thing will do well in our drought. Cactuses do really well in desert conditions. Any questions here? Fired adobe. But where does the fire come from to make that adobe? Right here, right? This is an oven. Now these ovens kind of look like igloos to me. I think that, I don't know, but they're made of adobe as well, covered in that same plastic. To use this oven or roof tiles to make them appropriate. Today we use this oven to make things like cornbread. We don't really make brick bread. So we make bread, other kind of treats them now. I'm not going today, so we won't be able to do anything. On the other side we have a kettle, a big black kettle. Now missions are really big economic centers. That means that industry, business, things are coming through this very ground right here. A common trade good or business good in landowner, it's no longer a church. But by then, they had stripped the white adobe and changed that chapel to have a brick exterior. And they built a big bell tower on top and put a bell in it. Today you don't see that bell because we want to represent what the mission looked like originally. So it's changed a lot over time. It's had many faces, this mission. And there was a big earthquake in 1906. They were here and lived their lives here, so we wanted to dedicate something to them.